The reason that we want to lean back in relationships and in dating is because we want to see where a man's interest is and how a man feels about us. And a man is always going to move toward a woman that he finds attractive, that he's interested in. Like, there's no excuses. He's always going to do this, right? And I know a lot of people talk about avoidant men. Men are not avoidant, right? Like, I hate to break it to you, but they're just not avoidant. With the right woman, a man is going to be able to open up his heart. But if a man feels pressure, and so in terms of like the attachment styles, so if a woman is anxious and she is sort of always closing in the gap for a man, especially if this man appears avoidant, he's going to appear more avoidant. And the reason for that is because he's feeling a lot of pressure. Now, when it comes to men that are more in their masculine energy, they're not going to want a woman to pursue. And even if, like, at some level it feels good to them because it activates their ego, at a heart level they don't want this, because they know internally that if they want to move towards something or they want to move toward a woman, they know what they have to do to make it happen. And so when a woman is the one that is like closing the gap in, what it signals to a man, and again, this is unconscious, what it signals to a man is, this woman doesn't trust me. She doesn't trust herself. She doesn't trust me, because if she trusted me, she would know that I would be the one to close that gap in. Now, sometimes men will say that that's not true, and they appreciate when a woman, closes the gap in. Look, I wholeheartedly disagree with this, because I believe that yes, sometimes men have things going on, absolutely, but it is not our job as women to fix that, or to ask how you are, or to, baby you. That's not a woman's job. A woman's job, when a man has sort of retreated, is to give him space and to allow a man to come back to himself when he's ready, and to be warm and receptive to his advances when he comes back. I do not advocate whatsoever for a woman to close the gap in, because as women, if you are more in your feminine energy, or if you desire to be with a strong man, if you close the gap in for a man, especially repeatedly, what you're going to find is that you're going to feel bad. You're going to feel bad in your body. And if you don't feel bad in your body, and you enjoy pursuing men, you're in your masculine energy. And if you're okay with that, by all means, you do what works for you. I'm primarily talking to women that are in their feminine energy, or something's not working, or women that are in their masculine and want to shift into their feminine. So for those women, I want you to think about how it feels when you're closing in the gap for a man. It won't feel good, because you internally as a woman will feel best when a man is pursuing you. So the reason we want to use leaning back, and the appropriate way to use it, is not to trigger a man's ego, and it is not to play games. It is primarily to take care of ourselves as a woman, and to, protect our own self-worth, and to practice that. Meaning, a woman that has high self-worth is never going to initiate with a man or try at all to advance the relationship. She's never going to do that. And the reason for that is because it won't feel good. Internally, it won't feel good to do that. And so that is the reason we don't want to lean back. And the reason it's so powerful with men is because, again, men have an instinct and a desire to move toward women, whether that be for sex, or whether that be for, making sure that if they met the woman of their dreams or their wife, making sure they lock that down. Because when a man meets a good woman, or like a quality woman, he is going to not want to have any other man have access to her. That's it. So a man is always going to move toward a woman either to reproduce, right? Because that's in his instincts, that's in his DNA. Or when he's met the one, he's going to make sure that that woman is his woman, because he's not going to want to have any other man have access to her, because he knows, if I don't do something to win this woman over, someone else is going to have her. And a man's instinctual competitive instincts are going to kick in, and he's going to want to solidify something with her. The moment that you are leaning in with a man, if you are in camp two, meaning a man thinks that you are the one, or he sees something different in you, the moment that you lean in at all, unconsciously, he's not going to put you in that category anymore. Because again, quality men or high value men know internally and do not want their future wives to bend over backward for them. Unconsciously, they don't want this. Consciously, they might want it because the ego wants it. The ego is the part of us that wants a quick fix, that doesn't like pain, that wants immediate satisfaction. And the ego part of us is the part of us that will always guide us into the wrong relationship, and it will always mess everything up. And so it's always important that you learn how to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, and you are not activating your ego, right? Because the moment that you're activating your ego, that's when you're moving in and you're chasing a man, right? And when you do that, when you're operating from your ego and you're chasing a man, or you're closing the gap in, what's going to happen is you're also activating a man's ego, because a man's ego is activated when a woman chases him, right? He likes it. Of course he's going to like it. Why wouldn't he like it? Every person wants to feel desired, but he's not going to think that you are the one. And so even if you're in a relationship with a man, or a man has kids with you, that doesn't mean that the man unconsciously thinks you're the one. And I really want to emphasize this, because a lot of relationships, we get into relationships for the wrong reason, because we're getting into relationships from our trauma, meaning we're getting into relationships because something bad has happened in our life, we don't feel good about ourselves, and our ego is really needing validation from someone else. So rather than us healing, taking care of ourselves, and healing from the past or whatever's going on in the present, what we do is we don't want to be with ourselves, and so we go and the ego looks for validation from someone else. And then this is how we form an ego relationship or trauma bonding. And a man, when he does this and he moves into a relationship quickly, and it's lust, or really it's just ego, because another woman sort of just like stroked his ego, made him feel good about himself. He didn't take his time to do that, and he ends up with a woman like very quickly because the woman kind of stroked his ego. What's going to happen is, and what you're going to find is that once he has the woman, he's going to get bored. Like, he's not going to feel this emotional connection to the woman anymore. And oftentimes men get very confused. So because they've never experienced how it is to be with a woman that's activated his heart, because it's a completely different feeling when a man meets a woman and the woman is activating his heart, because he's never felt that before, he's just going to think it's normal. So he's going to be in the relationship. He's not going to be fully satisfied, but he's going to be in the relationship because, now there's an obligation, now there's kids, now there's a business, but really inside something is dead. And the relationship, you'll find as a woman, you're always trying to get something from him because he's not there. He's sort of checked out. And what I want you to understand is that if you keep leaning in with a man, and when we lean in with a man, and this is the reason it's so important to do your inner work, because when you do your inner work and you actually have high self-esteem as a woman, you're just not going to do that. You're not going to lean in because you're not trying to activate a man's ego. You want to activate a man's heart. And you understand that when a man's heart is activated and a man thinks, oh, I'm attracted to this woman, because that's the first thing. A man's going to be attracted to your looks, right? He's going to be attracted to your energy. He's going to feel there's something about this woman. And then what's going to happen is he's going to pursue. And why you're never going to close that gap in for him is because you want him to keep investing in you. You want him to keep moving things forward, because when a man is the one that is moving things forward and a man is the one that's investing in you, a man is falling in love. And this doesn't mean that when he is moving toward you, you're cold. No, you're not cold. You're warm, you're inviting, you're elegant, you're classy, you're all these things, but you're letting him work for you because he wants to work for you. And the more that a man works for a woman, and again, when I'm saying work, I don't mean in a way where it's games, you're playing games with a man, you're manipulative. No, I don't mean that. I mean, as a woman, you have confidence in yourself. You know who you are as a woman. This is why I go back to the inner worth course. You have self-worth. You're not going to just give your heart to any man. Because when you give your heart to a man, that man, you want to make sure that he's going to take care of your heart. He's going to take care of your emotions. He's going to take care of you. And how are you going to know if a man is capable of taking care of you and your femininity if you don't allow a man to work for you? Because then you don't trust in him. So if you don't allow a man to work for you and you're closing the gap in for him all the time, how do you think it's going to be when you move into marriage? You're the one that's going to have to do everything. And so a high value woman or a quality woman never, ever, ever wants to close that gap in for a man, because she understands that a man is falling in love when a man is the one initiating and the man is the one pursuing. Now, you also want to take your time with sex or anything physical. And I go into this in the books. And again, the reason that we want to do that, first of all, it should come naturally from you. I am naturally a very shy woman, and I take a lot of time doing anything physical with a man. And the reason for that is because I value myself too much. I value my body. I value my heart. I value my emotions. I value myself too much. And I am never going to give myself away to a man that has not worked for it, because my body is my temple. So why would I give my body away to just any man? And I take my time with that because I also want to see, again, is a man interested in me for the right reason? Is he interested in me because of Fareen and who she is, or is he interested in me for superficial reasons? And you won't know that if you sleep with a man very early. This is another reason why you want to lean back. So oftentimes what will happen with women is they will use their body or their looks to reel a man in. And when you do that, again, you're activating his ego, because a man is going to take it. A man's not going to say, no, that's okay, I don't want to have sex right now. Of course he's going to take it. And there's nothing to feel bad about that. But if you want to activate his heart, you need to activate his emotions. And you do that by him getting to know you little by little by little, and him having to work for you. The more that a man is having to work for you, and the more a man is like thinking about you and desiring you, wondering what you're doing, the more he's falling in love. And this is what I want you to understand as women, is men want to feel this. They want to feel differently about their wife. They want to feel about their wife, she's so quality. She doesn't chase me. Even when I'm a jerk, she doesn't chase me. She can walk away. She's not closing the gap in for me. There's something different about her. She's never initiating. She's not sleeping with me right away. Oh my God, a man wants to feel these feelings about a woman. He doesn't want to feel that it's so easy to get a woman. He's not going to make a woman his wife if the woman is so easy to get. And even if he does, even if unconsciously he moved toward the woman from his ego, he's going to get bored. Now, I want you guys to understand that in relationships, when a man is extremely in love with a woman and attracted to the woman, he's always going to want to be intimate with her. He's going to have a strong, strong desire for her, and that is never going to go away, because the woman carries herself with a lot of grace and elegance, and the woman understands her worth. And when a woman understands her worth, she becomes very, very, very magnetic to men. And this also comes from the standpoint where the woman is not the one leaning in, the man is. And now, again, the more that you are leaning in with a man and the more that you initiate, the less of a challenge you are, the more of a bore you are. And, quality men, right? So these are the men that you're interested in. They're going to get bored of that. Insecure men won't, because again, they need to constantly be reassured by a woman to feel good about themselves. Quality men don't want that. Quality men, at a deep down, unconscious, space within themselves, want to be the one to win over a woman. And I want you to think about this. A man that wins over a woman and has had to work for her, he's going to value that woman, and he's going to put this woman on a pedestal. He's going to make this woman really feel amazing, right, in their relationship. And a feminine woman wants that feeling. A feminine woman never wants to be taken for granted. She wants to be treated like a prize. She wants to be treated and cherished, and she wants to be loved and adored. And the only way that a man will be able to treat you that way is if you allow a man to experience the feelings of what it's like to be with you incrementally, and allow him to sort of build up to certain feelings with you. If you give him everything right away and you're not a challenge to him, he's not going to experience these feelings with you, because you're not providing him with enough emotional connection to do that, because you're just available all the time. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.